So I'm standing as close as we can get to the sarcophagus at the moment. Good morning from a very sunny Kiev. It's about 7:45 a.m. and I'm just waiting for my Chernobyl tour to start. I've decided to take a one-day group tour, and that's just because of time restrictions. If I had more time in the country, I prefer to take a 2 or 3 day tour, but because I don't have that much time here, I've decided to take the one-day tour to try and pack as much as I can into one day as possible. So let's go. So we're at the first checkpoint. I've got my ticket, I've got my dosimeter, just waiting to get through passport control, and then we'll be into the 30-kilometer exclusion zone. But as you can see, it's a pretty popular tour. So I'm hoping it won't be completely packed when we get in there. First stop on the tour, outside of the checkpoint for the 30-kilometer exclusion zone, is the town of Zalicia, and there used to be 3,000 people that live here, and as you can see, it's not in the best of shapes these days. Stepping into a house like this that's just been completely abandoned, it's like stepping back through time. Got a nice little woman's shoe down there, a sink as well, and some music sheets. You know, someone at some point would have been playing music in this house. I don't know if you're able to see this because it's pretty dark in here, but I've just stepped into this old abandoned house and it's just been left as it was on that day. As you can see also, we have the month of April just waiting on the bed here where someone used to sleep, someone's old fireplace to keep them warm, and even their knitting yarn as well. But it's just not been touched in over 40 years. Crazy. So the other thing that I have that's going to measure the amount of radiation that I'm exposed to is a Geiger counter, and this is a real-time measure of the radiation around me. At the moment it's reading 0.15, which is just slightly higher than it was in Kiev. It was about 0.11 in Kiev, but it's still lower than you would experience, say, in the streets of London, or much lower than it would be on any commercial flight. So even me flying here to Ukraine, I experience more radiation than I am currently when I'm less than 30 kilometers away from the nuclear reactor. So yeah, it's fairly safe in this area at the moment. I'm standing next to a memorial for all the towns were affected by the Chernobyl disaster, and literally next to it is a couple of apple trees. But unfortunately, as much as I'd love to have a good apple right now, eating any of the vegetation here is strictly prohibited in case of radiation poisoning. You know, you eat an apple that's taken up some of the radioactive elements within the ground, and you're eating the radioactive elements. So yeah, no apple for me today. But I'm inside the 10-kilometer zone now, and my Geiger counter is reading just over 1, about 1.36. But from what I understand, if I put it closer to the ground, then this should go up. That's gone up to 6. It's given me a warning to get out of there, so that's going to be my plan. As you can see, this is Chernobyl reactor number 4. This is where the explosion happened, and you see the metal covering it. That is the newly built sarcophagus that was installed in 2016, and it's the largest movable structure in the world, weighing about 58,000 tons. I have to say it's a pretty impressive achievement, both for mankind and engineering. I'm standing as close as we can get to the sarcophagus at the moment, and it's roughly about 75 to 100 meters away, I would say. And my Geiger counter is pretty much only showing about 1, and that is still half of what you would experience when you're on a plane. So still, even being so close, it's still as safe as it can be. Here is the site of where the red forest used to be. Because of the contamination, they had to chop all the trees down. But walking up to here, my Geiger counter is already going off. This still remains to be one of the most contaminated parts of the entire Chernobyl zone. So I'm now in Pripyat town, and it's pretty amazing. Completely overgrown, completely abandoned, and yeah, much like any other radiated abandoned town, I guess. Sorry, I mean radiated, abandoned Soviet town. Let's check it out. So I'm in the old abandoned theme park of Pripyat, and it makes me want to come and play. I mean, who wouldn't want to go on these bumper cars here? Or even better, you have the Ferris wheel up there and the merry-go-round as well. But it really goes to show how quickly this place was abandoned. This theme park was due to be opened only a month after the explosion, so sadly they never got used. And I've finally found Lenin. Right now I'm inside the abandoned stadium. As you can see, I'm in the middle of the seats. Let's go and have a look inside it. It's pretty dark, but I think you should still be able to see what's through this way. There's a door. Okay, doesn't actually lead anywhere. Not sure where else I can go here. What's here? Ooh, I think I found the old, wait, let me get my torch out. Yeah, found the old Soviet toilets here. Let's go this way. as you can see, pretty much stripped apart by people, I guess, for the wires, the cables, or the metals, or whatever, or taken apart by the government, because by this time, when the stadium was about to be open, much like the theme park, it was the next month that it was due to be open, so this never saw people, never saw sports, never saw anything. Let's go up another flight. Wow. This looks like the engine room. But it's nothing anymore. Just glass everywhere. Exposed pipes, exposed wiring. You gotta wonder what this place would have become if Chernobyl hadn't happened. Yeah. So I've just walked to the top of one of the apartment buildings in District 5, and you can view over the entire city of Pripyat. And in the distance there are some buildings, and they still hold the banner of the old Soviet Union still flying above these buildings. And of course you can also see just about there, you can see the top of the Ferris wheel, and in the distance also you see the sarcophagus of where reactor 4 was, and ultimately where Chernobyl started. Here we have the old elevator shaft, obviously not functioning anymore. Going through, we see what would have been the toilet and the kitchen, and probably 2 bedrooms. The door blown off, an old wardrobe. And another kitchen. And look at that, a tree being grown now inside the abandoned apartment of Pripyat. Really, one of the things that I think is striking is just the fact that how rapidly everything was abandoned here, and just how it's just been desolated and left to rot basically in the radiation of what is now the Chernobyl Exclusion zone. Here's the old information board, and still has the names of the people that used to live here, including their apartment numbers. And some old Soviet propaganda as well, probably. So as you can see, I'm in one of the old abandoned kindergartens, and that's the bathroom. But between all the beds, the school area, and all the toys, you really get a sense of how quickly everything was abandoned here. Another cleaning area for the children. And look, the decaying toys just still rotting here. Coming through, this is where the children would sleep. All together, it looks like. And there is maybe 4 or 5 of these buildings, all one next to each other. So you could tell there was a big population of children here as well when the bomb struck. Let's have a look at this. What's this? Some old reading material and colouring books and writing paper. Wow. There's really an air of mystery around this place when you're here. In order to make sure I'm not radiated, I have to go through a checkpoint.